Day 3, really good day. First day of full pads. A lot of good competition out there. We threw a lot at the guys. I mean, a ton of drills and different situations, and I thought they handled it really well. Kind of what you'd expect, some good, some bad on both sides. And it was good to see the offense made some big explosive plays and the defense made some big plays, some turnovers, those kind of things. So we got to clean up all the little stuff, but that's what spring football is all about. So with that said, questions?
Hey, Coach, Jared with the Daily News here. I guess 1 week down, 3 practices in, what are your biggest takeaways, from those 3 practices and heading into week 2 next week? I guess what are you hoping for?
Well, I think we got the fundamental part down, all the basics, and now we got to operate at a high level. I think back today, our last period was our team period. We had a good offensive drive going, but we checked it, quarterback checked it, receiver didn't see it. If we're on the same page, he's going to hit a big play, might even be a touchdown. And those are the difference in this kind of offense that make or break you. I think back to a critical 3rd down, defense jumps off sides in a blitz period, so now it's 1st down. And so those are the things that good football teams don't do. And so we got to be able to operate at a high level and continue throughout spring doing all the right things. I think we've gotten enough, winter workouts and walkthroughs and player run practices and all those kind of things under our belt for all the basics. Now we just got to play at a high level.
Coach, this is Hunter Smith with WKU. You mentioned those player run practices. How have you seen those really kind of benefit you all through this first week of spring practice?
Really good. I mean, it's one of those things that you're not trying to do all the simple Simon stuff. I mean, you're getting the snap on time. You're getting the mesh with a running back on time. Quarterback can make some of the checks that he needs to make. Defense can operate at a high level. They can, recognize when they need to bring a pressure or change a pressure to a different direction. A lot of those things you wouldn't get done if they hadn't had the opportunity to go out there and do that on their own. And, we're going into year 3. So our guys know how to work. They know what's expected of them. It's great that we trust them to go out there on their own and be able to have their own practice and do their own thing, because it's not mandatory by any means. So, but we're an older bunch that knows what to do. And so I would say we're ahead of the game from that standpoint. We just, as we continue throughout spring ball, the things that make the difference, making the big play down the field as a receiver, or coming up with a big stop on 3rd down, or not having the holding call on offensive line after a big play. Those are the things that we got to perfect.
Coach, this is Wyatt Sparkman from the College Heights Herald. You're talking about a lot of communication and some communication errors that you sometimes see early part in the year. How important is communication and chemistry going into your 3rd year with this team?
Well, I think it's huge, specifically on offense. How we'll operate on offense. Really, the quarterback has full control of everything. I would say half the time he's going to walk up to the line of scrimmage and he's going to check something or redirect something. So we all have to get on the same page. So we basically live and die by what he does. I mean, he is the coach on the field. And I'm excited about that, because if we're right, you get to have the pencil last kind of deal. And if you're right and you're hitting on all cylinders, it's tough on defenses. Same thing defensively. I think Coach Crum does a great job. We have a lot in right now. And we're also throwing a lot at our defense early on offensively, and they're having to make a lot of checks and do a lot of things. So communication is definitely key, but our guys are handling it really well. They're doing a really good job with it.
Hey, Coach. Jared with the Daily News again. It looks like Malik's back with the linebackers. I know he kind of switched back and forth a little bit last year, but are there any position changes you guys are working with this spring?
Not off the top of my head. There might be one, but he would probably be the only one I can think of. But right now, I think that is the only one.
Coach Hunter again with WBKO. Do you expect to name a starting quarterback in the spring? Are you guys just playing it by ear, or is that a decision you're going to wait until the fall to make?
I don't mind. We're going to, number one, play it by ear. And I think it really comes down to, can you make that decision at the end of spring? You know, has a guy pulled himself ahead of the bunch enough to say, yes, it's worth us saying this guy's the starter? We may get to that. We may not. You know, we're still recruiting. And I think we still have some spots there. You never know what's going to become available. I'm not against signing another quarterback if it's the right kind of guy. You know me, the more the merrier. So in my mind, there's a lot of things that would have to play out for us to go, hey, we're going to go name a starting quarterback by the end of spring, because the portal world that we're about to enter here in about 2 weeks, guys are going to be entering the portal. They're going to be looking for new homes. It's always about competition in every position. And quarterback's no different. And so the guys we have out there in spring, that's great. We want to get them ready. But there may be a guy that comes available that we think could add something to this football team in the quarterback room. We don't mind signing that guy. So to answer your question, I don't know, to be honest with you. So we gotta play all those scenarios out, and then we'll see in the end.
Coach, this is White again with the Herald. You have some new staffs, new offensive coordinator in there. So how are like some of those newer staff members gelling with the players over the first week? What have you seen from them?
It's been excellent. I've been this staff, in my opinion, and I can't predict the future. I don't know. You know, I hope we have a great season. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, you just got to try your best, and everything's up to the good Lord. But I am so excited about this football team, just how hard they work, their demeanor, how they approach every day. It's a football team that you want to coach. And the same thing for our staff. They have gelled tremendously together. Everybody rolls up their sleeves. They help each other. We have great camaraderie as players and coaches. So it's really exciting for me right now as the head coach to be a part of that. We got to just keep getting better and keep developing. And I think it'll pay off for us when we get into some of those tense scenarios when we're down the stretch and it's the last drive kind of scenarios. Hopefully that'll pay off for us. But I couldn't say anything better about the camaraderie we have right now as a team.
Coach, I know I mentioned Malik with the backers, but you guys lose quite a bit without Kyle Bailey and Eli Brown. I believe they combined for 21 starts in 12 games last year, and did a lot for you guys. You guys get some pieces. It's not like you lost a lot of experience because you got Clay there. You got Will now eligible. You got a new coach in there with Coach Bastian. I guess, what are your expectations out of that group, and what have you seen so far?
Well, I really have high expectations. I think we got bigger and stronger inside. Now that doesn't lead to production. I thought, Kyle was extremely productive. Eli was extremely productive. So we looked the part. We looked pretty when we run out there, but that doesn't mean we're going to be productive. But we got some great candidates in there. You think of Nick Days, who got to play a little bit, really has a bright future. Will Ignat's now eligible. He's competing. Matthew Flint, who transferred for North Carolina. Clay Davis is back. We got some young guys behind him, Talik Allen and Aaron Key. I'm sure I'm missing one or two. I mean, Bryson Harrison's a walk-on who got to play a bunch, can help a lot. So we got a lot of depth there, that's probably the one position on defense I feel like we really should be our strong point, even though hadn't had the experience as like Kyle and Eli had. I know Coach Crum will get them coached up, and Coach Bastian will get them coached up, and they'll be productive.